Coming up in the morning edition, the Minister of Finance speaks to that, the Defence Force thwarts a would-be suicide, and let's take a trip to Adelaide. It's the first day of Holy Week. Welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. As always, it's great to have you waking up with us. Let's see what the weather has in store for us this week. Here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean with the first look at weather. Good morning, Basil.
Good morning, LaDawn. We're going to get you started with our satellite picture, and it shows a front boundary approaching the northwest Bahamas that will change weather conditions by afternoon, but it will begin over the extreme northwest Bahamas this morning, and for us here in New Providence, we'll start to see the effects as of late this afternoon. But outside of our studios, we are under partly cloudy skies. The temperature just around 77 degrees, relative humidity 83%, southerly winds at 8 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,015.3 millibars, that's 29.98 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures around the islands, 73 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, Greenville Key, and Freeport also reporting 73 degrees. In the Berry Islands, 78. Alderstown, Bimini, 79 degrees, 77 in Harbour Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Alderstown, Cat Island, Staniel Key, Kemp Space, O'Dandros, and Fresh Creek in Central Landers. More 77s in San Salvador and Rum Key. As we take you further south, it warm up just slightly to 78 degrees in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands. Matthewtown at 79 and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 78 degrees. Your boating forecast for today in the northwestern islands, south to southwest winds 10 to 15 knots ahead of the front. Behind the front, those winds will swing out of the northwest. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide, 10:18 this morning. The high tide will take place at 4:23 this afternoon. For the central Bahamas, southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. For the southeast Bahamas, southeast at 12 to 18 knots, and the wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your first look at weather, the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Meanwhile, Jiminy DeSwain is standing by with a traffic drone to give you the Bahamas' first traffic report.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
It's been busy for much of the morning, motorists making an easy commute in this area. But traffic officials had a very busy weekend. They have a number of traffic accidents under investigation. The most recent one occurred just yesterday afternoon on West Bay Street near Sandyport, and it involved a waste disposal truck and a taxi driver. Now, that vehicle was definitely mangled. Both drivers received injuries, but on that scene was head of the Police Traffic Division, Chief Superintendent Craig Stubbs, who provides these details.
From the Cable Beach Division would respond and confirm and requested the EMS service. Also, they requested fire service as some of the drivers needed to be extricated from their vehicle. We know for a fact that the driver from the waste disposal truck, he was actually pinned within the vehicle, and with fire services, they was able to extract him, and he was transported to PMH with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the taxi cab, minor injuries, nothing life-threatening. He was also transported to PMH for further medical evaluation and treatment.
Now, as Chief Superintendent Stubbs indicated, both of those persons went to hospital for treatment. But to talk about the other incidents that happened over the weekend is, of course, Corporal Decory Barr of the Police Traffic Division. Good morning, Corporal Barr.
Good morning, Jiminy. Good morning, Bahamas.
Now, we understand that in addition to that accident on Sunday, there was another accident involving several persons on Saturday afternoon, pretty much in the same vicinity.
Yes, not very far in the same West Bay Street area. On Saturday, we had a traffic accident involving two vehicles where we had 7 persons injured in that accident. Out of that 7, 5 of those injured would have been children or young persons. That accident, in all of these incidents, we find that in addition to speed, distracted driving played a major cause in what happened in all of these incidents, and we're going to continue to encourage persons to do nothing else but focus on that vehicle that you're operating while you're driving that vehicle.
Now, in addition to that, we also understand that there was a traffic fatality recorded in Andros overnight as well. Do you have any details on that?
Yes, we had yesterday evening, we had a fatality in the central Andros involving one vehicle that lost control somehow and ended up in the bushy area. We find that local residents attempted to assist the driver who had succumbed to the injuries on that scene of that accident. We have a team from New Providence Traffic Police Department who are mounting up to go over and assist with the investigations in that matter.
Well, thank you so much. That is, of course, Corporal Decore Bar Police investigating that traffic accident from yesterday, and obviously, of course, a traffic fatality over there in Fresh Creek, Andros. Again, motorists, we're asking you to drive safely as you make your morning commute. Back to you in Studio LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Jim Anita. Former Magistrate Ernie Wallace begins his new post today as Customs Appeals Commissioner, Chairman of the Customs Appeals Commission, Value-Added Tax Appeals Commissioner, and Chairman of the Value-Added Tax Appeals Commission. He was sworn in this past Friday by Acting Chief Justice Vera Watkins. Finance Minister, Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest told us during a telephone interview on the weekend that there are presently 3 value-added tax objections that have been referred to the Commission and were delayed since the body was not in operation. He indicated that the Commission should help in the effective administration of value-added tax.
Value-added tax is now, I think it's 38% of our revenue, if I remember correctly, but it is certainly overtaking customs duties as the lead revenue earner for the government. And so it is particularly important that we iron out all of the difficulties and the questions that have arisen with respect to policy and how that relates to the law, so that we ensure that going forward we have a clear understanding on both sides as to how to eliminate a lot of the tension.
The 3 Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marines who prevented a male resident of New Providence from committing suicide on Saturday are now speaking out. It was around 10 o'clock Saturday morning when Defense Force Able Seaman Michael Gibson, Able Seaman Cyril Davis, and Woman Marine Alexis Strawn were at the Defense Force Rangers Program Security Checkpoint on Cowpen Road when they encountered an individual acting suspiciously. Able Seaman Gibson told our news team that his colleagues then saw the middle-aged man leaving the woods on the southern side of the checkpoint with a belt around his neck.
Marine Seaman Davis hopped out of the bus. By the time Davis got out of the bus, he had already tied the knot on top of the limb. Step off, he was hanging. Davis tried to lift him up from the bottom to relieve the pressure on his neck. At that time, he had 2 Ranger cadets on the bus as well. One of the Ranger cadets attempted to climb the tree, lift the gentleman's body to relieve some of the pressure off the neck. But when I see that, none of that was working, I hopped out of the bus. Good thing I had my knife on me at the time. Climbed to the top of the tree, cut the bed loose. At that time, he dropped, he was unconscious. Davis caught him. We left him to the side of the street. He was out for probably a minute or so. We was pouring water on him, trying to bring him back. When he did come back, he started just crying. He was in tears. We was trying to get him to speak and say what is happening, but he didn't give us any information at the time.
The New Providence Ecology Park was officially handed over to a new private institution last week during an official ceremony. Officials say that they feel positive about the decision and look forward to the future developments. Director of Security at the New Providence Ecology Park, James Carey, spoke about new safety measures being enforced at the site.
We've put in place already measures that involve 24-hour patrols, foot patrols, mobile patrols, and we have officers stationed at static points. We have sufficient officers and it's flexible. We can expand it in accordance with the threat. If there is a threat, then we will bring in additional officers. In addition to their patrols, they're trained in firefighting. They are at times the first response. The security officers have already been successful in putting out a number of fires. These are small fires that we noted in our patrols and were able to address effectively.
Additionally, Carey says they plan to put in place more barriers in order to keep stray visitors from roaming the area.
There is an intention to put 4 miles of fence around the whole complex. which will be an added feature. At this point, we occasionally have problems with scavengers that come on the dump, but that has been reduced significantly over the past 2 weeks. They are likely to set fires, and then we don't need persons getting in the way of the operations. We have a lot of heavy equipment moving around. We have to be concerned about safety as well as security, which is why there is no smoking on the dump. And anybody coming on the dump advised that they shouldn't be smoking. There are to be no flames on the dump. And it's important that we address these issues before they become large issues.
There's a unique little resort tucked away in High Rock, Grand Bahama called Bishop's Place. If you're looking for some good R&R, that's the place to be. Our Megan Shepard from our Northern Service reports.
The Blue and White open-air bar and restaurant could arguably have one of the best views in the East. And the owner, Reuben Bishop Roberts, says that they have the best crack conch in the world. Bishop's Beach Club has been in the High Rock community for some 34 years, and its longevity is attributed to repeat customers.
We got a restaurant, a bar, we got the best food in the world, best crack conch in the world right here, you know. And we got rooms, we got rooms, and in the rooms we have a TV, coffee maker, refrigerator, 2 beds, 2 rooms, and stuff like that. And you're right on the water, right on the beach.
If you're in the mood for satisfying, mouth-watering Bahamian food, Bishop says the drive up east is definitely worth it.
We got lobster, crack conch, crack lobster. We have shrimp, pork chop, chicken, fish. We have the whole whites, you know what I mean? You get what you want, you know what I mean? We have it there. We open from 10 o'clock in the morning and on weekdays until 6 o'clock in the evening, and on weekend we open until 7.
On property is also a small motel. Bishop says the community of High Rock is perfect for a quick getaway.
Well, High Rock is a nice community. I've been here 34 years. Never had a break-in, never had nobody stealing, never had nobody try to rape nobody. And you got 7 miles of beach. People, any hours of night you could go on the beach and lay out and stuff like that. It's unique, man. It's good.
Now, Bishop does admit that business has been a bit slow lately, but says he's optimistic that with the full reopening of the Grand Lucan Resort, business across the island will pick up.
I believe that when that Lucaya open, I believe the spinoff. But right now, it's so hard for people to get, you know, the plane. No, we don't have the airlift for people to come. Like that, it's so expensive, and somebody buy that, we could drop the price and people start coming. And people come to outlet, like place like here, quiet and nice beach, 7 miles of beach. When they come here, once they always come back.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Good story there, Megan. And coming up after the break, we're going to take a trip to St. James Anglican Church over there in Adelaide. That and more when the morning edition comes right back. Welcome back to the Morning Edition. In efforts to raise funds to help those in need within the community, the charity organization HADASSAH'S Helping Hands hosted a tea party in North Westridge under the theme, Transforming into a Better You. Influential women from across Bahamian society were in attendance. Founder of HADASSAH'S Helping Hands spoke about how the charity got started.
It's a nonprofit organization, and we give back into the community for those who are less fortunate and who are in need. I started the foundation last year, and it's named after my 2-year-old, Hadassah, and it's named HADASSAH'S Helping Hands Foundation. She had a bit of complications at birth, and she's even she's overcome those challenges now, but I actually founded this foundation because I want her to learn what it is to give back to those who are in need.
Kemp also explained why they decided to have the tea party.
We decided to have a tea party, especially because it's Easter time, and the tea party is a form of a fundraiser because we want to be able to give about 50 to 75 care packages in terms of groceries and toiletries for those in the communities who need it.
AML Foods Limited has come to the rescue of the Grand Bahama Children's Home in response to an urgent plea made by the executive director, Sheila Johnson-Smith, via social media for diapers and wipes for the 26 children currently living at the home over there in Freeport. Answering the call from executives at the home, AML Foods jumped in to offer to match each purchase made by their customers towards the drive. The initiative, which launched on Friday, encourages customers to purchase diapers or wipes for the home at Cost-Right Freeport, Solomon's Lucaya, or Solomon's Queens Highway. After purchase, customers can place the items in special marked bins located in those stores. There's nothing like a trip down to Adelaide. Tanya Smith-Cartwright took that trip recently to find out the history of St. James Anglican Church. She filed this report.
Deep in southwestern New Providence lies the village of Adelaide, home of St. James Anglican Church. ZNS News decided to take a trip there. In early New Providence, several villages were established away from the town center to accommodate recently freed African slaves. Adelaide was one of them. The governor made efforts to promote education and worship for the freed slaves. Out of this, St. James Anglican Church was established in 1848. Wait a minute, you know what? Spoiler alert! Here's Father Andrew Toppin, rector of St. James Anglican Church, with the real story.
The church here in Adelaide, St. James, was started back in the year 1848, when the foundation was laid. It was done by Archdeacon McKinnon Trio, and he got help from the Church Aid Society, and the church was consecrated in 1850. March 22nd, by Bishop of Jamaica, Reverend Aubrey George Spencer. At that time, we were under, the Diocese of Jamaica. And so we're doing a mother matter that makes us 169 years old. And so come next year, we'll celebrate 170 years, which will be a very grand time. And after that worked for some time, the church was under the parish of St. Anne. So the priests would have to come all the way from Fox Hill, and conduct services for the members here. And it should be noted too that the church was placed here for freed African slaves. When they were freed, they needed a place to worship.
Father Toppin has been rector of St. James for quite some time, but parishioner Marjorie Bullard has been a member of the church as early as the 1940s. Here's what she remembers.
I went to every priest that came from a little girl, and we were taught how to read, write, learn to sing, learn the psalms. And it was good because then, we had no light, no water. We didn't have a good road. And then my great-grand-aunt, she was a catechist, the first catechist, because then we didn't have a priest. So she would teach us as much as she can teach us about learning the hymns, singing the psalms, and, go on.
Visiting the serene Adelaide is like taking a trip to a family island. We will be back on Easter Monday to fellowship with the members of St. James Anglican Church, so stay tuned. At St. James Anglican Church in Adelaide, for ZNS Network News, I'm Tanya Smith-Cartwright.
Fisher, a good history lesson there by Tanya Smith-Godwin.
Yes, we know.
What's coming up in sports?
Well, coming up in sports, we had a busy weekend. I'm so tired. We had basketball, we had softball, we had elections, we had boxing, we had rugby, and we're going to try and get all those in sports this morning. I'm a bit tired this morning.
A lot was going on in sports over the weekend.
When I invited you out, you didn't come.
No, I was busy sleeping.
That's what I feel like doing right now.
That and more ahead in sports.
Good Monday morning. It's time to get some life in here. As our swimmers and track and field team prepares to leave this week for their respective Grifter Championships, the water polo team setting the standard on the weekend in Barbados. Our under-16 boys claiming the gold by edging Trinidad and Tobago 12-11. Under-14 co-ed team lost to Trinidad 24-15. And the under-19 boys taking the bronze 15-10 over Borneo. Driscoll Roll repeating as champion as the Bahamas Bowling Federation Nationals wrapped up on Sunday at Maros. She had an easy road to get there.
It was good. It's a good feeling to have won. You know, Janice, who came second, she had a chance to win in the 10th frame. I believe she needed to at least double or strike out. That didn't happen, so I was at the mercy of her. But obviously, I'm happy that I won. It's 2 in a row, and I think it's been my 4th win in the past 7 years, so I'm happy.
The Bahamas Basketball Federation Round Robin Nationals also held on the weekend in the Division I contest. The Commonwealth Giants taking on the surprising Abaco Elite, who surprised everyone but themselves and got rid of the GB Gym Rats in the playoffs. Looking to take it to the Giants, this one close throughout the first half, with the Giants up 48-45 at the break, 69-64 after 3. That's when MVP Deshaun Taylor went into this don't miss mode and propelled the Giants to a 189 win, finishing with 41 points. Guard Teron Cox.
It's a rewind from last year, so we're accustomed to it. But we know that it's going to be different challenges this year because it's always different teams and a lot of competitive teams coming in from Abaco and Freeport this year, so we had to change our focus a little bit. But the goal never changed for us to win. Win and win. It was the only thing we was thinking about all day. They were a lot better this year, especially Abaco. I know some of these guys from national team and also from Freeport. They had a good team. I'm very impressed with their team. Very impressed with the turnout from the Palmy Islands as well.
The Bahamas Basketball Federation also with the elections earlier that morning. Executives from all over the country in town for that. And the elections went quite smooth as the entire slate, led by Mario Boleg, went in unopposed.
That speaks volume about the persons like myself and those who were in place in the last 8 years, you know, under the leadership of Charlie Rubens and Keith Smith and Clifford Raming and Anastasia Moultrie and Stephen S. Brown, who all have moved on. You know, we were all trained and groomed well to take over from here. And I mean, the associations understand that basketball has moved to another level over the last 8 years, and knowing that persons like myself and others who are vying for these positions, who are part of the previous slate, understand that we know what it takes to get basketball to level. That is the reason why it was smooth. They trust us, and we assure them that we will do well.
Outgoing President Charlie Softy Rubens on why he didn't seek re-election.
Due to my illness, you know, early in the year, I was advised not to. I can't do much now because of my heart, you know, so the illness that I had, the little pressures, I had to stay away from that. Plus, my wife has just retired, so now, you know, I spend more time with her. Both of us now retired, so we just relaxing. And I'm still going to help Mario, still going to be a part of basketball, still going to hold my summer basketball camp, you know, but right now I think it's almost better for a younger group of guys to take over, and they got a little more energy to take this basketball to the next level.
Softly the best, and let's put this plug in here on the OT this morning on 1540 AM and 104.5 FM with yours truly. We'll be speaking Grifter, track and field swimming, and also congratulating the water polo teams. That's it for sports. Make sure to tune in to the OT.
In our final look at weather, we have a cold front that's approaching the extreme northwest Bahamas, Grand Bahama, Bimini, and North Abaco. They will begin to feel the effects of that front within the next hour or two, and by afternoon, that front will be moving into the New Providence area. Behind that, we expect very little change in terms of the temperatures, but certainly along the front boundary, a few showers and even a thunderstorm or two. Today, we're going in for partly sunny conditions initially, but by afternoon, clouds will start developing with showers as that front boundary gets closer. The high temperature getting up to 82 degrees. And tonight, we're looking at mostly cloudy with some spotty showers, low temperature around 73. And the extended weather forecast, a couple of showers lingering around right into Wednesday thereafter. From Thursday, we're looking for the breeze to pick up, so breezy conditions heading into the weekend with lots of sunshine. LaDawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil. And just like that, we're done for today. Make sure to join us here tomorrow at 7 a.m. sharp for more Morning Edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. Have a great day, everyone.